I just need to retweet some shit.
You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast, and of course, the Glebe Central Pub. I'm your host, Brandon Pillar, joined by Lalime's Martian and Jack Richardson after a 5-1 win for your Ottawa Senators at the Canadian Tire Center over the Anaheim Ducks. Boys, this is a nice little trio. We've got to postcast the three of us a couple times now, and we get a big win to celebrate this. Some smoked duck. It's duck hunting season is open. Martian, you were about the most confident about the Ottawa Senators for this game that I've seen you all season. What is it that had you so sure that the Senators were going to come out flying against the Ducks?
You just can't lose two games to the Ducks early in the season like this, Pilsy. I just knew they had it in them. I knew all the noise around the team was going to get these guys motivated, especially Brady Tkachuk. I just had a great gut feeling on this one. I knew the puck line was hitting tonight, and the Sens were going to dominate this game at home. The Ducks had a little travel involved. They took the train here. It's all noise. I think the boys they were just primed for a victory tonight, and I'm actually a little jealous of everybody who was in the building for this one, because that would have been a hell of a fun game to be at.
Jack, how'd you see this one?
Yeah, they put on a show for the fans, man. When you get 3 power play goals on 5 tries, you're pretty locked in for a good game from the Sens. And that was just a dominant game. And I think that's rewarding for the three of us, because we came here on Sunday and we were probably a bit more positive than I think a lot of people wanted us to be. And, that pays off, because now you're sitting here being all confident about a really strong homestand from the Sens, one that they absolutely had to dominate on. And now they're heading into a really tough part of their schedule. But you got to play what's in front of you, and they did that perfectly. I don't think the shots indicate how much they dominated that game tonight.
and the Ottawa Senators get back to 500, now a 13-13-2 record before they head back out on the road. And yeah, that's a nice way to cap off this homestand, erasing the disappointment of the game up against the New York Islanders, because this was a dominant performance, and the Ottawa Senators, they just let the goals keep on coming, and we got to hear Song 2 by Blur 5 different times. Drake Batherson with a natural hat trick and 4 points. Brady Tkachuk with a beautiful goal. We get some bottom 6 scoring as well, and Linus Ullmark continues on his pace to get back to his Vezina winning season numbers that he had a couple years ago. So a lot of positives in this one. But boys, on today's Locked On Senators podcast, our keys to victory were for the Ottawa Senators to win the face-off battle. They did that, I believe, 64.8% to Anaheim's 35.2%, and have a dominant penalty kill up against another weak power play percentage team. Martian, I know you were all over this one. The Ottawa Senators, after allowing the New York Islanders to go 2 for 2, 100% against them, they have the Ducks going 0 for 5, 0%. What is it about tonight's penalty kill in your mind that made it so much more effective?
It's exactly what we talked about in the last postcast, Pilsy. It's instead of being a passive and allowing the, that outside area to get dominated and those entries to be easy, they went the exact opposite route. I felt like tonight they made that adjustment and they started being way, way more aggressive on that kill. I don't even think they changed the personnel around that much. I don't know if Giroux was killing penalties tonight. I couldn't really tell. I think Pinto might have been the guy who replaced him out there.
I think so.
I think so too. And they were turning pucks over. They were putting pressure on the Ducks. They didn't allow them to have that time and space that they needed to set up in the zone. I mean, 5 for 5 on the kill, Pilsy. That's amazing stuff. And that's what we're looking for out here, baby. That was beautiful. So for me, it was just that. It was all about the aggression and just getting in their way, getting in the lanes, and limiting that time and space with speed. And that's what they needed to do. And it worked out beautifully. There was some great chances for sure. The Ducks had a few good looks on those power plays, but they always say, your goalie has to be your best penalty killer. And absolutely tonight, Linus Ullmark was outstanding. And it's honestly a shame that he didn't end up coming away with the shutout in this one. That goal ended up being a bit of a weird one from Cutter Gauthier, but man, honestly, that penalty kill to me was exactly what you need from them to do. Like it's all about the aggression for me, Pills.
Martian, I like that you said they say that goalie is your best penalty killer. I said that after the last game, right? When the penalty kill 0 for 2, Anton Forsberg also went 0 for 2 on the PK. So Ullmark back there, man, is just such a solid option. Like he eats pucks and like calms the play down, gets a fresh set of legs out there. Like you never see Ullmark kind of miss an opportunity to freeze it. His rebound control, I find, has been really, really good. I'm not a goalie analyst, but you could just tell there's a difference when he's back there. And I'm really seeing it. And Pilsy, I don't want to give you too much credit for this, but I think since you took that jersey down, pretty stellar. He's been pretty stellar bouncing back. I think he's 4-0-1 in his last 5 starts.
Hey, I'm harsh, but it's what you got to do sometimes, Jack. And I'm glad Ullmark got the clear message about that one. And the only goal Linus Ullmark allows in this game, classic refs don't want to see the Sens enjoy good things, because Linus Ullmark chops it. That puck was going to bank off the boards and clear the zone, but it hits the ref's knee, and the Ducks recover, throw it on net, and it deflects in. Kind of a weird one. So you'd love for Ullmark to get that shutout, but Martian, obviously a shutout is great, but 31 out of 32 saves for a .969 save percentage. We'll take that too.
Yeah, of course we're going to take that. You're not going to ask anything more of a goalie who's supposed to be your starter, and he's been our starter, and he's been great. And tonight especially, he was doing his job. He was holding steady. He looked, I think Ross threw it in the chat, and he might have stolen a line from me a little bit, but Linus Ullmark looked like he was in a rocking chair sitting in the crease tonight. Yep. Didn't look panicked for a single moment. He was calm, cool, collected in there. He was making saves. Not a lot of rebounds, I didn't think. He was collecting pucks and freezing it when he needed to. And I just thought it was a really, really nice game from Linus Ullmark, and something that and I've joked about this, the Sens saying that they can build off of wins and games that they've lost and things like that. This is a game that I think Linus Ullmark can really build around for his confidence, and it's just been carrying on over the last 3 or 4 games for him. He's been really good.
Yeah, he's been incredible, and that's what we expected to see from him. A bit of a shaky start mixed in with some sort of strain or injury early on in the season, but now that he's settled in, he's the exact goalie the Ottawa Senators were hoping to get when they made that trade in acquiring a Vezina winning goalie. So, yeah, there's lots of positives all around here. Let's start, though, someone we haven't really mentioned, Noah Gregor. He gets the goal. First shot on goal for the Ottawa Senators. And it's nice, Jack, to see the bottom 6 chipping in here because we know Timmy can do it. Lord knows we know Drake can do it a 4-point night. How are you? Brady Tkachuk keeps things rolling along. But that fourth line chips in and gets a goal early. How huge was that for you, seeing the Sens score first and seeing a bottom 6 scoring effort?
The Alberta beef line, I think, is what they're being called. Now, I really hope Zach Ostapchuk's all right. I know he kind of left the game in the third period there, but during the game when he was playing with Ridley Gregg and Noah Gregor, who gets the goal, that's a fast line. They're sneaky quick. I've been pretty hard on the Sens. I think forward group just they feel like on the wings at least they've had a bit of a lack of foot speed this season. But when you get guys like Gregor back in the lineup, feeling better, not sure what he missed, but he was non-contact jersey. So might have been something kind of serious, like a concussion or something like that. And seeing him back is good, man. He's one of those guys that I thought might have been effective on the penalty kill if they wanted to try that, because speed kills against some of these defensemen. Those big bodies on the Ducks, Jacob Trouba, Radko Gudas, you just got to make them skate and play in their own end. And like Brian Dumoulin and the Sens did that tonight at 5-on-5. And you need your bottom 6 in games like that. Like the top guys are going to take over no matter what, but it's the third and fourth line shift. That's how you wear teams down at 5-on-5. So having them out there and scoring first is just really big for the whole team and sets the tone for the night.
And the Ottawa Senators weren't only able to wear the Ducks down 5-on-5. How about wearing them down 5-on-3 and extended 5-on-3? Basically as long a 5-on-3 as you can make it, as Gudas clears that puck out and over the glass right off the draw. They get 1:55 seconds, and Batherson gets a one-timer, slips under Gibson. And look, we're a hashtag goalie friendly show here, so you got to give props to Gibson. He did as good a job as possible hiding that puck. Even the vet move, I don't know if everybody caught this, but when it was under him and the ref's like, okay, the whistle's blown, like, get up, let me see where the puck is. Did you see what he did? He pushes down onto the ice and then pushes off the post. Like, I feel like most goalies would just be like, okay, like, I just got to get up here and we'll see where the puck is. Gibson does not give them that opportunity at all, Martian. And if it wasn't for a pesky overhead net cam finding that puck, Gibson might have gotten away with that one.
Yeah, thank God for the back of the net crossbar cam, right? Because I mean, honestly, I didn't know if it was going to count, because common sense would tell you when you see that puck where it was and you can see what part of the puck you could see between his arm and his body, you could tell the puck was fully in the net. But like you said, he was doing an incredible job of trying to cover that thing from the cameras. And then I really loved, because I was laughing at it too, Pilsy, the way he got out of the net was so funny. It was like a little break dance move to try to make sure everything came out with him when it did. It was really, a savvy move by a veteran goalie. Yeah, very smart, but didn't end up going in his favor. And that's what should have happened. It should have been a goal. It was a goal. So I'm glad that finally, like, for the once, a goal went our way, when it was one of those ones where I was just like, I just know that this is one of those ones with the Sens, like, this is not going to go our way, even though it's pretty clearly in the net. And sure enough, lucky for us, it ended up working out. So Drake Batherson, his first of the night.
Yeah, and Brady made it very clear to the refs that he thought that was a goal. I mean, I joke about it, but it's true. Like, a lot of the time you can tell what a call is based on players' genuine reactions. Like, you can tell when guys are faking it or if they're overdoing it, but that was a genuine reaction from Brady. And obviously I don't think the ref is like, well, Brady pointed 7 times, so it's got to be a goal. But it gives you an indication of what they think is actually happening there.
And not even that, all the players went and did the handshake.
Did the Selly, yeah.
Like they just were like so confident that was a goal that they were just like, hey, let's just get this like whole handshake thing over with here. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was pretty obviously a goal. So good.
It's just good
adjustment. It's
their instincts. Like they kick in because they follow the game so well. And even on the bench, right? If you sit close to the bench, you can see them. They're all into the game. And you know what a good example is? The puck over glass penalty by Gudis, right? They're obviously begging for a penalty, but right away, it's just they all knew it's in the crowd. So yeah, man. Batherson, like I guess the next 2 goals, Pilsy, not to steal what you were gonna tease for them because they were a little bit weird, right? The weird bounce off Cam Fowler, but Drake Batherson. This might be the Drake cast. I keep calling it on Twitter, but man, what a night from him.
And our guy Terry McGurran on Twitter says took Batherson 7 games to go from 99 to 100, then less than 20 minutes to go 100 to 102. Hashtag go Sens go. Great call on that one, Terry. And Jack, I'm going to tease the rest of Batherson's goals because he had a bit of a party for himself today. And you can have a party whenever you go to the Glebe Central Pub, the official sponsor of the Postcast. You guys know the Glebe Central Pub is our pub when we come to the nation's capital. You can check them out at 779 Bank Street and go to their website. They've got the Send shuttle. Sue, the bus driver, will get you to and from the games on the shuttle. Round trip, $17 only. Everybody knows that that's the best way to go to the game. You can have dinner and drinks at the GCP, get on the bus, get to the game, keep the good times going. Don't worry about parking. Don't worry about driving home. The bus takes you right back to the pub to celebrate the Sens 5-1 win. If you guys are on the shuttle right now, let us know in the chat. And if you want a chance to go on the shuttle, visit the Glebe Central Pub website. You guys know that the vibes are free at the GCP. This episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for your shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You guys heard me right. You can win 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. If you sign up today, you'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. Best part is you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Do you know which players are going off or which ones aren't going off? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn those sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Whew, need a breather after the double ad read there, boys. You know who didn't need a breather, though? Drake Batherson. This guy was ready to roll. We already talked about his first goal on the power play. The review comes back good. And then, Jack, like you mentioned, his next one is a bit of a weird one, but take us through Batherson's next goal because he was trying to set up a play that he ends up being able to set up later on in the game, essentially.
Yeah, we talked about the power play being a little bit too cutesy last time on the Postcast. I like that it was the 3 of us last time, so we get to reference the things we complained about with the Sens and how they did better on them this time against Anaheim. And a lot of it was with the power play. They were being too cute, not taking the shot when it was there. And this was still Batherson kind of doing that, I guess. Like he's in a wide open spot to get it on net, and it ends up working out. They get the bounce. So I think that's kind of maybe the analytics, right? You've heard a lot about the Sens' expected goals being really good. Overall, and then maybe they're saying the record's better than it is. They got some bounces tonight, right? Drake's goal right there is a perfect example of it, but it is an example. You keep doing the same things right over and over again, eventually you'll get some looks. Like I didn't think that John Gibson was the reason the Ducks lost tonight by any means, but his save percentage won't look that pretty at the end of the night.
Yeah, it's tough, especially when the Ottawa Senators get the power play opportunities. They go 3 for 5, 60% on the power play. And when your own players are putting it in the net on you, not a whole lot you could do there, Jack. So yeah, not exactly John Gibson's fault on that one. And then Drake Batherson says, you know what's better than 2 goals, 3 goals, and let's make it a natural hat trick because when you're hot, Martian, this was such a heat check play, in my opinion, because the puck banks off the boards and Batherson doesn't even think. He's like, I got 2 goals already. One of them went under review. One of them went off a Ducks skate. I'm just throwing anything I got towards the net. And that's what he does. And Gibson doesn't track it and it slips by him.
Yeah, it was funny. He kind of had backward momentum when he shot it. It wasn't the hardest shot in the world. He just put it on net, and Brady Tkachuk was standing in front. Brady obviously made it known that, that's your goal. I didn't touch it. It went straight in. And by the time that thing's in the back of the net and everybody realized that Drake Batherson's already almost at the red line, he's just back there just like, hey, let's go. So it was beautiful. Yeah, man, when you're hot, and Drake was hot. He wasn't done there, boys. He had a great setup on the Brady Tkachuk goal as well.
Take us through that one, Martian.
Well, I mean, he gets it down low, and he's got a cross crease. He's got a guy lying down in front of him, and he just throws a little UFO. I like to call it a UFO. It's a little saucer.
Little saucer?
And it comes down right at the perfect spot for Brady to hit that 1T, and he's got an open net basically at the side of the goal. But yeah, man, that thing, that pass was just like a soft saucer pass that you just dream of when you're a goal scorer standing in front of the net. So. Great job. And that was a big hitter for me. I loved seeing that one going because I needed Brady to score tonight. The one thing I will say I was a little disappointed about is I was trying to get the Sens fans to get the Brady chance going at the 7-minute mark. Show this guy a little bit of love for what he's been doing for this franchise since he's been here. But I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it tonight. But, I mean, on the whole team just played really well. So you can't complain.
Yeah, that was probably Batherson's nicest play of the night. I thought that was really just that's what he does best, just dishing the puck. But when he can get a hat trick every now and then, you'll take it. But yeah, Brady Tkachuk too, man. I like those two together. Batherson's a big body to deal with for some defensemen, and if he's dishing the puck like that to the other guy, those are 2 big power forwards out there at even strength and on the power play together. I like that a lot. I like that they've got that line cooking again because Stützle again had a pretty good game, but wasn't the guy that we're talking about. Coming out of it, and he still had 2 assists again. I think that's 3 straight with 2 assists for Tim Stützle. Just an absolute animal.
3 straight and 9 games total on the year where he's had multiple points. So, like we always say, boys, I'm going to beat the drum again. Give it to the German. Good things are going to happen.
Yep, you got to do it. Timmy keeps things rolling. And yeah, Drake Batherson with 4 points, 3 goals, 5 shots on net. So huge night for Drake Batherson. But we talked about it a little bit, but we got to give more stick taps to Linus Ullmark. I mean, he's able to keep this team in the game. Not exactly that the Anaheim Ducks had a lot of grade A scoring chances, but it's important to note they had 32 shots on goal. Like, it's not like usual where the Ottawa Senators are just out shooting teams and Ullmark's kind of hanging around. I thought he did a really good job here. And I think these are the kinds of games where if the Ottawa Senators see that they can be confident in their goalie, then they can let it fly offensively. Like, Jack, how much of a boost do you think Ullmark's game being like this gave to the offensive players? Because when you got a goalie like that, you can risk and cheat a little offensively, and he can mop up any mistakes that happen.
They're starting to play like they know they're good when they're up by 3 with Ullmark and net. Like, think about this game, right? They make it 3-0. I don't think the Ducks had more than 8 shots on net at that point. And from then, the Ducks kind of carried the shot clock a little bit because the Sens peppered 18 in the first period and then sort of took the foot off the pedal at least a little bit in my mind. But I'm not going to sit there and look at the box score and be like, oh, you know what? Ullmark really stole in this game just because I think his presence did. I think they're starting to play with confidence because they've got a true starting goaltender back there. Not to say that they didn't feel that they had the game when Forsberg was in net against the Islanders because they still played really well that whole time, but they didn't sit back and they couldn't because the game was tighter. So I think just having Ullmark there is a bonus. And then he goes out and makes the saves, slows the game down, doesn't lose you the hockey game when you're in a perfectly good position to win it. And I think he's really just turned the corner. And like you mentioned, Pilsy, this is what they traded for. And this is, I think, why this season was so exciting because they're kind of starting to put it all together. Some of the young guys looking better than they did last year. Oh, and there's a Vezina winner back in between the pipes every 2 out of 3 games. So I think that's really a confidence booster for the Sens.
And Martian, we already talked about the penalty kill, but the Ottawa Senators have a great night on the power play as well. What did you like about the power play from the Sens in this game?
Yeah, I mean, well, like it helps a lot when you have a lengthy 5-on-3. I mean, that's always going to go a long way. I knew they were going to score on that one. Like that was just, it was pretty obvious to me that like there was a goal coming there. I liked what Jake Sanderson was doing on the power play tonight. He was facilitating really nicely. He was, 2 and 10 out there. He was walking the line nicely, and he was shooting the puck as well. He had a few really great shots, I thought, as well. Got unlucky on one really hard one that Gibson made a great glove save on, but it was the sustained pressure, Pilsy, and it was a lot of the stuff that we talked about again on the last postcast where they were trying to get too cute, I think, last game, and then this one, they were a little bit more deliberate with what they were doing out there, and they were just making the easy play and then shooting the puck at the right time, getting traffic up front, banging it home, and that's what you end up with. And if you look at those goals, none of them were particularly pretty. I mean, I guess you could say that Batherson Kachuk goal was probably pretty nice.
Yeah, that one was pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the only one you would really look at and be like, wow, that was a beautiful goal. I mean, the Batherson's first 2 goals were I hate to call them garbage goals, but I mean, they weren't pretty looking. It's not going to make highlight of the night. So that's what you're looking for. You just want to make them, you want to make the other team keep them on their heels and then hope to get it across the goal line any way you can. It doesn't have to go all the way over or it doesn't have to go over hard. It doesn't have to end up in the back of the net. It doesn't have to end up top shelf. It's just going to end up, counting. And that's all you need to do.
The Ottawa Senators make that puck cross the goal line 5 times versus the Anaheim Ducks only doing it once. And it was a good night for all of us, I think. A lot of Sens fans when it came to getting green numbers in the FanDuel account. And you guys know that FanDuel is the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's also North America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch, the Ottawa Senators are going on a 5-on-3. You can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's FanDuel.com. All right, boys. Brandon Pillar here with Lalime's Martian, Jack Richardson. Thank you to everyone joining us in the chat. We love to have Sens fans here for not just a postcast, but a vibecast after a 5-1 Ottawa Senators win. You guys know what time it is. We're through the second ad read, so it's time for some Sens Central standouts presented by the Glebe Central Pub. I forget who I threw it to first last time, so I'm going to go with Martian here. Martian, this is an easy one for you, or maybe not. Maybe you'll switch it up, but who is your Sens Central standout presented by the Glebe Central Pub?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the East Coaster here, boys.
You got to do it.
Got to take the low-hanging fruit when it's there for you, so I'm going to go with Drake Batherson. I mean, how can you argue with a guy who has a 4-point night, a natural hat trick, 3 goals, 1 assist? He put the team on his back. He got the job done out there, and Pilsy, as you said, he was just hot tonight. And when he's hot, he's hot. 15-33 time on ice tonight. That's not it's not a ton of ice time for a guy, but he was just such an effective player all night tonight. 5 shots on goal, 2 power play goals, 2 hits. He was buzzing. So Drake Batherson, I don't think I really need to elaborate any further. He had an incredible night tonight. This is one of those ones. Remember when Ross used to always be placing bets for the multiple? It was a 3-point night. He was always looking for that 3-point Drake Batherson night. Tonight it hit. Usually hits probably about 2 or 3 times a season. So we can look forward to maybe a couple more from Drake. But tonight was one of those incredible nights from this guy. He's got a great attitude. He's got a great personality. He's just one of those guys we're lucky to have on our team again. So pumped for Drake Batherson, and I thought he was a easy pick for me as a standout.
Jack, who is your Sens Central standout presented by the Glebe Central Pub?
I think Batherson's a great pick, obviously, and I'm kind of happy I get to go a bit deeper in my arsenal here than getting the first guy. So I'm going to go with someone who I don't think we've given enough love to this season. I'm going Thomas Chabot. I think him and Jensen, I think Jensen's getting most of the love just because he's new and has made that pairing so good, but Chabot looks like his old self to me. Like he's just all over the ice. You could tell game by game, he's getting more confident having Nick Jensen beside him because the way they buzz around in the offensive zone, is really impressive. And I think, we've focused also a lot on Jake Sanderson and how he's maybe had his play slip a little bit. The pairing hasn't really worked out that well since Zub's first injury this season. But in the meantime, Chabot and Jensen have really emerged as like a pretty elite pairing together, right? They're, I think, head and shoulders above any other Senator in plus minus this season. I think Jensen's like a plus 14, 15 already this year on a team with a pretty the goal differential is not that great right now. So it's impressive. And I think it's maybe just a shout out for that pairing in general, because while Sanderson struggled with Hamonic, those two have found their legs. And again, Sanderson looked all right tonight, but just kind of overall big picture. I think Thomas Chabot became a little bit of a whipping boy, I think, in the last few years. So really good to see him back to form.
I like that, Jack. And yeah, Chabot's today especially, he's really getting comfortable doing the full wheel around the ozone, eh? Like he must have done that 2-3 times where he just takes it from his point and just does a full lap. And it ended up actually being a part of the first goal. I don't think he got an assist credited, but that's what set up that play. So I like that one from you, Jack. I'm going to go with the captain, number 7, a goal, an assist, 3 shots. And we had a natural hat trick in today's game from Drake Batherson. Well, boys, producer Ross coming out with the stats. Last natural hat trick in Sens history 3 years ago today. Brady Tkachuk in a 4-0 win versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. So the captain keeps things going. He lets everybody know he wants to stay in Ottawa and he loves it here. So Brady Tkachuk will be my Sen Central standout. I don't think we're going to snap it around an extra time, but do you guys have any honorable mentions you want to get in here? I mean, we'll do it snake style a little bit here. I got to give love to my guy, number 35. Linus Ullmark, 31 saves out of 32 shots. If it wasn't for a ref getting in the way, this would have been a shutout in my opinion. So great game from Ullmark.
Yeah, dude, he was awesome tonight. So that was, if we were going to snap it around twice, that's exactly where I would have gone to, Pilsy. So he was really good, man. He's starting to look fairly comfortable in that crease. And that's 3 straight wins with the Martian on his helmet, just for anyone who's
huge
driving home. So
Jack, any honorable mentions for you?
Yeah, I mean the German always. German engineering is good for Tim Stützle. Like he's just everywhere, man. Just a bully for other players. The way he pushes defensemen back and lets everyone else join in. Like Clevin and Bernard Docker are getting grade A chances when they play with Tim Stützle. Like it's not that they're not good together. I think that's another good shout out. I know Clevin was one of your standouts the other night there, Martian, but I think him and JBD, man, that UND engineering is really good on the back end, because those two together look really steady night after night, especially against this kind of weaker competition. You don't get super high end guys in the 3rd, 4th line on the Ducks, but I think they just look so solid.
Yeah, you can't break those guys up now at this point. They're way too comfortable together. They obviously have a great friendship off the ice as well. So I think keeping Clevin and JBD together is the way to go. It's going to be interesting to see again what Travis Green does. This has happened twice now with Zub's coming off an injury. How do you manage that? How do you replace that? You want to disrupt 2 lines again and end up fiddling around with it. I don't think that's the way to go. But just going back quickly to Tim Stützle, have you guys noticed he's doing this thing now where it's a bit of a Daniel Alfredsson move where he's got this, he's got the respect of his opponents. I feel like when he's coming into the offensive zone, they're kind of like on their heels. They're like, oh my God, here comes Tim Stützle. He's going to do something crazy. He's going to make us look stupid. And then he circles back and he creates space. And then everybody's kind of like, whoa, what's going to happen here? And he finds the trailer, and that's the classic move that he's starting to do. And that's where guys like Clevin and JBD a little bit too, because JBD's got a great shot as well. But Clevin especially, he's got a little bit of offensive hunger that is like almost a little bit too much at times, I feel like, because you can just tell he wants his points. He wants his cookies. He's used to it a little bit. But I think that, those guys are benefiting from the way that Timmy's playing, because Timmy's not automatically attacking every single time unless he sees something he really likes. And he's taking that circle around. At one point, the Sens had 9 minutes and 11 seconds of offensive zone time versus 5 on the other side. So it's like they were almost doubling them up in offensive zone time. So I think Timmy's a huge part of that, and he's a possession king. He's the king of it.
Yeah, it's what he does, and he can stop up He can continue to drive the lane. He can continue to wheel around the net, Shabbat style. Like, you never know what he's going to do. I think Timmy's skating this year has really been elevated to another level, and that's allowed him to be not just a better offensive player, but a better all-around 200-foot player. So that's been awesome. Another great game from Timmy here. So I think that's the majority of the Sen Central standouts, in my opinion. Let us know in the chat if you think the same, guys. And this is a great 5-1 victory to get back to 500 for the Ottawa Senators, 13-13-2. Not just the Ottawa Senators winning today, the Belleville Senators also get a 2-1 win over the Syracuse Crunch. So it's a good day for Ottawa Senators fans. Boys, what else do we got here before we wrap things up in this 5-1 win vibecast? Jack, you got something for me?
Pillsy, where's the panic button at? Like, what are you at on that meter? Because I know like 2 weeks ago it was a different story, right? It's been a good stretch here. They're 5-2-1 in their last 8 games. They've really bounced back since that 5-game losing streak. So I'm kind of asking, I'm just like, what's your guys' thoughts on the team here? Like, that was just a tidy win. And I like that there were only only one other game in the NHL. That was a national broadcast. Like, just get the word out that the Sens are all right. This isn't the same story here this season. So where are you at with the Sens right now?
Well, the panic button is turned off. So I'm not anywhere near panicking. Yes, Sens are 5-2-1 in the Lily Levitan era. Lily's Lullaby will be playing again today, otherwise known as Danger Flutes. But Jack, you mentioned it, that the Ottawa Senators now are feeling a little bit better. They're 5-4-1 in the last 10. They've got 28 points now. They're 2 points out of a wild card spot here. Martian, I know you're not a guy that checks the standings often, but are you taking a peek? Are you at least intrigued by it, or you're still holding off here?
Well, let me tell you, Pilsy, I happen to be looking at it right now. Oh. And in honor of this week, I am looking at the New York Rangers as the target right now. They're sitting at 31 points with the same amount of games played. We're 3 back at them. I think that's a team that's falling off. I think their morale is busted. I know they got a win against Buffalo tonight. That's honestly good for the Sens in their division, at least. But I think that the Ottawa Senators are looking at the New York Rangers as the target to bump out of that wildcard spot. And I'm not too worried about the other 2 teams that are in between, in Philadelphia and the New York Islanders, who are sitting at 30 and 29 points respectively. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to get in. I think they're going to find a way no matter what. I don't really look at them as so much a competition as the New York Rangers, the Philadelphia Flyers, the New York Islanders. Those are the teams we're competing with now at this point. I mean, we got a game coming up against the Penguins. They're right there. They're tied with us right now, so you got to beat them. But I'm looking at the Rangers as a team that is broken right now, and they are the biggest candidate I've ever seen for a rebuild in my life. They have aging veterans. They have brutal morale. They've got guys who are, been there for however many years, and guys like Chris Kreider, who are in the trade rumor category. They've been putting it out there as, hey, this guy's available, and he's been one of their longest serving veterans. I don't think that's any way to treat your players. I think that's trickling down. They just traded their captain. I don't think they're a good team at all. I think that they obviously just signed a great goalie in Igor Shesterkin for the next 8 years. That's a hell of a signing. You're paying him a ton of money, but how happy is he ever going to be when he's going to have to realize that the team in front of him is going to be garbage? And I don't think he's a good goalie, but I don't think he's going to be one of those ones who's going to stop you from, or he's going to drag you to the playoffs and then win you a bunch of series. This team's in the shitter. I think that the Sens are coming for them, and I think this is the year that we do it. So I'm looking at the New York Rangers right there at 31 points, same amount of games played. The Sens are coming for their ass.
All right. Lalime's Martian and Michael Landlauer both looking at the New York Rangers here. Let's take a quick look at the stat card here. Drake Batherson, I mean, the eye test matches that. That's about as good a night you can have on the stat card. Kind of surprising, JVD and Tyler Clevin down there. As we talked about, it seemed like they're kind of playing a better game recently. But then you got the usual characters, Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle. Nice to see Jake Sanderson on the top half of things here. What jumps out to you guys, Jack? Anything?
Yeah, I think like guys like Josh Norris, I think kind of maybe not on the score sheet as much, but just solid. Like no glaring holes there. Shane Pinto's so close, man. He's playing good hockey though, I think.
Oh,
And I
so
know he's
close.
still towards the bottom of that graph, but I think he's looked better. That line has figured something out since playing Anaheim in California. So a lot to like ahead of a tough game on Friday night in Carolina once again. So we'll see how the Sens can do on the road because home ice has been generally pretty good this season, but away from the CTC has been a problem. So we'll see what they can bring on Friday.
The Ottawa Senators cooked up some smoked duck at home, some home cooking for dinner, a 5-1 win over the Anaheim Ducks for your Ottawa Senators. And it's always nice to cover a win, but when you get to cover a puck line win and even out a season series, the Ducks got the first one in the shootout, but the Sens get this one. So you go 1-0-1. We like that. 3 points out of 4 possible. And now, as Jack mentioned, you head on the road for next game Friday up against the Carolina Hurricanes. That one's going to be a tough one. But for now, we say goodbye. We'll have another episode of the Locked On Senators podcast tomorrow on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube. Producer Ross will be back with me. We'll get to hear his thoughts for Lalime's Martian, for Jack Richardson, for myself, Brandon Pillar. This has been another edition of the Postcast presented by the Glebe Central Pub and the Locked On Senators podcast. It's your team every day.